Hi guys, this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So we are here for another one of our mass making sessions. We are up to week number 221, would you believe? So we are flying through our third round of the mass makings. So for anyone who doesn't watch my channel, we are doing reruns and we are rerunning week number 21. We rerun it for the second lot of reruns, so it was week number 121 and now we're doing week number 221. What are we making? We are making, now I'm looking at my iPad because I always like to try and re-watch the videos, you know, before I come and film it. So the first time I called these a different pocket with fold out, and I guess they are, but the second time that I did these I called them the long fold out pockets. So that's what we're going to call them today, long fold out pockets. So if you are wanting to mass make along with me for making these pockets for your junk journals, you are going to need some paper. Now, I have bought along printables, and I know I say this every week, that's because I predominantly have printables these days, but you don't have to use printables, you can use whatever paper you have. The only caveat to that, I would say two things really. First of all, I would recommend thicker paper, so I personally wouldn't use, you know, like a really flimsy book page. That's just me because I'm likely to tear it. But, you know, of course, if you are more confident than me, then you could probably use that. But you could use, of course, you know, scrapbook paper, sheet music, anything you like, so long as it's kind of slightly thicker and a bit more robust. So my printables, they are all printed on 250 GSM. So this is significantly thicker than your kind of 70 to 80 GSM, which is your regular copy paper thickness. Now, the only other caveat that I would say to your papers is in an ideal world, you will want them, oops, just coffee dyed these and ironed them, and look, I've ironed that one with a big crease in it. You would ideally want them either double-sided or you know, for instance here, have coffee dyed the backs of them. Now, the reason being is because when these open out, you're going to see the insides. Now, that's going to be where your journaling space is going to be. Of course, you could use double-sided paper so long as the inside was palish. So, for example, this is my lace collection papers. This is pretty pale. You could journal onto here. So, you know, if this were, say, a double-sided paper here, and that were the inside, that would work fine, I think, because obviously it's quite pale. You wouldn't want to necessarily have something like this one, for example, on your inside, you know, your double-sided, because of course you're going to struggle to journal over that. So, you know, I think the best thing to use in an ideal world would be plain and then coffee dye the backs. If you don't mind your paper being plain white inside, then of course, you know, forego the coffee dyeing process, but I'm not keen on the white, you know, the white insides. So that's your paper. Then you're going to need either your bone folder or scissor handles, you know, something to squish your folds. Now, any cutting that needs doing, I'm just going to use my scissors. If you like to use a, you know, scoreboard and a guillotine and all that kind of gubbins, or a paper trimmer, then of course use that. I personally find all those types of things quite cumbersome, and so I prefer to use just my scissors. You're going to need some glue. I'm using here my 3-in-1 glue, but you can use whatever glue that you find best. And then aside from that, I like to always have, you know, a dried wet wipe for smooshing out any excess glue that's coming out. You may like to have a glue spreader, and I like to use just an old, you know, gift card or store card, or, you know, kind of card type thing. So you could use that. And then optional extras would be, you may like to have some twine or some sari silk, something like that, that you're going to use as a closure. If you'd rather not use that, then you might like to have some paper clips, which I did have some here and now I can't see them. Here we go, paper clips. You know, if you want to. These are optional extras, but, you know, something you may like to have. And then, of course, if you like to decorate your pieces as we go, then, you know, have an abundance of things to decorate. I'm not going to be decorating mine. We will just decorate one at the end. And then aside from that, optional extras would be, you may like to have some distress ink with a blendy tool. I've got here Distress Oxide, it's vintage photo here. And I've got obviously my blendy, you know, blendy tool. I think that's pretty much it for the basic foundation of the pockets. So yeah, let's get kind of mass making and doing these. Now I have to say I should have probably done a practice run because I haven't made these pockets for quite a long time, but yeah, I haven't done that, so we shall see how we get on. And I will try and remember to talk you through, or tell you, sorry, mention which papers I'm using at the time when I'm using them. I have the last few weeks done a sort of little bundle, but I haven't done this week. Right, okay, so this is my Regency collection papers. These are on my Etsy shop. So obviously coffee dyed on the back. Now, this is A4 size. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to make my pocket, but I'm going to trim it down slightly in terms of height. You don't have to do that. This would then be a full height pocket. It's up to you how you want to have it. So all you're going to do, you're going to take in a little sort of smidgen on the side. Now this is going to be what you're going to use to tuck your paper in. So this is going to be a little kind of tuck where your paper's all going to fold neatly into, okay? So you might want to smoosh that down with your bone folder. Then what you're going to do, you're going to take your long piece of paper and you're going to fold it in here, and you're going to just fold it in but leaving a slight space. Now the reason why you're leaving a space is just so that when you tuck this all in, it's nice and easy to tuck in. So smoosh that down like that, and then all you're going to then do is fold it over again like this. Now actually I'm now thinking, oops, hold on. Okay, so then what you're going to do is once this is folded in like this, you're going to turn your piece of paper over and you're going to fold it in here, getting your two folded edges to meet and line up. So again, squish that down there like that. Okay, so what you've got is a, you know, A4 sheet there with fold outs, and one of the you know, pages with a sort of slight fold into there. Now at this point, this was what I was talking about, that this is now a full height pocket. So it's up to you if you want to keep it as a full height pocket, or you could trim it down. So I'm just going to trim mine down a bit. And again, you know, it's up to you how much you want to trim it down. Personally, I find it easiest. I'm saying this and now it's not really panning out very well. I was going to say, I find it easiest to trim it once it's folded up. Okay, so I've just trimmed it down slightly, and then all you're going to do here, this here is going to be glued down on either edge, and this is going to form your pocket for this to go into. So what you want to do is just cut a couple of triangles here, just much like this sort of triangles for the tags. You can use the, you know, the tag method of, you know, cutting the triangles nice and neat to take it across and, you know, get them hopefully roughly the same size. And the reason that we've done that is because then it's going to be easy to tuck into this little space here. So I'm just going to take my glue, and all you're going to do is just glue down either side like that, okay? Or, you know, top and bottom like that. So sorry if you can hear Bo there. My son's just pulled up outside, so she's just kind of making a noise because she can hear him. Okay, so you just squish that down like that, and then what you've got is your little tuck piece tucks into here. Obviously it's now coming undone because of course it's not wanting to stay stuck down. Now I've not made a very good job of folding this, and it's not looking very straight, which of course using a paper with lines makes that very obvious. So I'm just going to trim that down there. Okay, but that's literally all there is to these. So then what you've got, I'm not going to tuck that in there again for the minute because it's going to obviously unravel, but what you've got is basically a fold out pocket like that. So you've got all this journaling space all in here, and you've also got this space here, which again, what you could do, let me just pull in some paper to demonstrate, is you could cut some paper here and glue it on. So for example, so this is just some, you know, book page and, oops, plain on the back, just taking that down like that. I'll just trim that down like that. Okay, oops, neaten that along the edge, and then you could basically glue this onto here on the insides, and that gives you then journaling space on here. Now unfortunately I can't really see where my crease is very easily, so just going to quickly glue this down, so like this. Okie dokie. So that one, where's my fold? Right, there we go. Honestly, it's really hard to see. So like that. Again, smoosh your glue down. This is where you may like to have your glue spreader. And then the other one, of course, just again, smoosh this one down like that. Okay, and just pop that one down, ooh, here, like that. Okay, smoosh the glue down, whoop, and then just like that. Okay, so that's your complete pocket. So then up to you really. So I'm just going to try and tuck this in now. Let's hope that glue's stuck down a little bit. Now, these are a little bit fiddly to tuck in whilst they're not glued on the page. Obviously, once it was glued on the page, it would be glued down here. You could glue it on 3 sides and it would be a side loading pocket. Oops, and then it wouldn't be obviously kind of moving about. But this was the point where I said you could use maybe string or something to glue this down. So I've got just some twine here. And we just go round, tie that in like that. Or, of course, you could use a paper clip, you know, as we just talked about. And that's all there is to these. I mean, they're such a pretty pocket, to be honest. And better still is they give you a really huge amount of journaling space, you know, actually contained in the pocket. So, you know, I think they're just really quite a nice addition. Obviously, they don't even have to be glued in. You could use them as a tuck-in. So that's that. So let's do another one, because I realised that, you know, they probably looked a little bit, you know, fiddly to make and a bit sort of cumbersome. So I'm going to use this. This is my pale blues and greens lace collection papers. So again, I'm going to just decide which side that I would like to have as my tuck. So I'm going to go for this side. Now you're just going over, you know, just a little bit like that. So give you in terms of measurements, it's just under 1 inch, so just over 3/4 of an inch but under 1 inch. So that's the sort of size that we're going for. Squish that down like that. Okay, and then if you recall, we take this and we fold it over, leaving a slight edge, so just like a sort of millimetre space there, just so that when you're tucking that into the pocket, it's a little bit kind of easier to tuck in. Squishing that down there like that. Then you turn it over and you want to just fold over, making your 2 folded edges meet on the edge like that. Okay, squish that down like that. Okie dokie. And again, this obviously is currently a full height pocket. You know, up to you if you want it as a full height pocket, but if you don't, just trim it down like that. Oh my goodness. I mean, I said to you, didn't I, that, oh, I find it easier to cut them down like this, but I mean, I'm proving that to be not the case. So that's that. And then all you want to do, you're going to just glue these 2 little edges down. So that side and that side. Press them down like that. Okay. Like that. And then all you're going to do is your piece that tucks in, you're just going to cut your corners down. And again, you can use your little triangles to flip them over and be able to get this symmetrical like that, and that's going to just tuck into there. I'm not going to tuck that into there just like the other one because it's still drying, that glue's still drying, but that's all there is to that. Then, like with the other one, up to you really whether you wanted to add some inner page. Actually, that's not plain. Oh, did not notice that at first. So yeah, completely up to you really. Let me just see whether I've got some coffee dyed paper. Okay, so then you could use your coffee dyed paper here to glue into here. Now, this is an optional sort of stage. You don't have to do this, but it's quite a nice thing to do. The other thing that you could do if you didn't want to do this, you know, sticking down your pieces of paper, sticking them on, you could make little flippy pads or something, you know, completely up to you how you would want to decorate this. So I'm just kind of folding this down, snip this down here. Oops. Like that. And then again, just take that down on, oops, that edge like that. And then I'm just going to take this down in terms of height, because obviously we've already cut this pocket down. So for example, we might want this, that sort of height. Okay, and we just then snip that down along that edge like that. At this point, you could round the corners or anything of your coffee dyed paper before you glue it in. It's completely up to you, you know, depending on what sort of look you want to go for. I think it looks fine, you know, with them just being squared edges, but it's up to you really. So just going to take mine, glue it in. I will probably not really do this for this mass making. I'm just showing you kind of, you know, an idea that is nice to do. I will probably leave my insides plain, and then when I come to actually use them in a journal, I may or may not add these, you know, these extra pieces of journaling paper. You know, I may just leave it for the person who purchases the journal, and then they can add or not add as they wish. You know, because they may like to add a flippy pad or anything. They might like to add, you know, for example, you might have a bunch of receipts or something that you could just staple together in the form of a flippy pad. So, you know, that's just little options that you might like to do. But I'm just showing you, you know, what is quite nice to do is popping in your extra sheets of paper like that. Okay. And then here, let's hope that that's dry now. You just tuck this into here. And like I say, I mean, once this is glued down onto the page, it's much easier to operate the pocket. Obviously, whilst it's moving around, it's slightly more tricky to actually, you know, use the pocket, tucking it in and things, because of course it's moving about. So like that. And then this one, I'll just quickly show you. If you were to have this paper clipped, you could clip it on this side like that, or, you know, that side, but it just holds it together. I mean, to be honest, they're not flapping around or anything, so you don't need to have a closure at all, but just if you did want one. And then what you could also do is you could just take a piece of ephemera, oops, and after that piece is tucked in, just tuck in a piece of ephemera in that little side pocket as well. So they're just a really nice little pocket, aren't they? And for example, this one, I would glue on 3 sides like that, so as I can access it by, you know, with the paper clip like that. And then again, take the paper clip off. Bearing in mind, this is stuck down now like a pocket, and you would have journaling space here, which is rather nice. And then obviously open this up. Oh, I'm trying to be careful because that glue is not particularly dry, but open the pocket out, and then you've got all that journaling space in there. So they're quite a good roomy pocket, aren't they? You know, I think, you know, they do provide a lot of good journaling space, don't they? So I'm just going to tuck that one in, and then I will just pop the paper clip round, just, you know, just for the purposes of the video. So I probably don't really need to show you again. The only other thing that I will mention that we haven't done, let me see, I definitely brought some paper along, is you could always make them smaller. So I've also got here some smaller pieces of paper. So just to quickly show you the pocket, but on a smaller scale. So these are my Yellow Roses collection papers, and as you can see, they've just been printed 2 to a page. Okay, so obviously when you print 2 to a page, they don't print borderless, so I just cut off the slight border around there. I will cut this border off in a moment, but I'm just going to kind of show you how we'll do this. So I take my Roses collection paper, and then we can just fold our edge over here, and I'm going to have to just cut that down because it's got that slight edge on there. So, oops, oh, I should have done it while it was straight. There we go. Cut that down on that side like that. Okay, and then fold your piece of paper in, leave in a little space there of a sort of millimetre like that, and then again turn this over, fold this over like that, oops, like that, and then just squish the whole thing like that there. Again, we'll just trim this down in terms of height like that. Okay, and then doing your little corners, again just flip this over so you've got that nice symmetrical corner going on. Whoops, like that. There we go. So obviously this is a much smaller pocket, but this is ideal either if you make smaller journals, you know, maybe you're somebody who makes smaller journals, or, you know, sometimes it's nice to have just different size pockets on a page, isn't it? So, or this is ideal for if you're using this as a tucked in piece rather than a glued down pocket, because obviously, you know, this is going to be that much smaller to be able to tuck it into a pocket, you know, on a page. So again, folding this in, whoops, being careful because it's not glued down properly yet, but that would just tuck in like that. And again, just like we did last time, we could just, you know, pop something into that pocket alongside there. So like that, and the whole thing would then tuck into a pocket like that. So they're just very cute, aren't they? So yeah, I hope you like them. So let's mass make some of these. So all I'm going to do is sort of assembly line these. And for those people who don't watch my channel, by the assembly line style, what we're going to do is do all the same stages at the same time, if you see what I mean. So we're going to just take the papers and we're going to just do all the same parts at the same time. So I'm just getting a variety of different papers that I think might look quite nice in these style of pockets. So yeah, yeah, I did bring along quite a nice selection. And now I do also have my birds collection, so don't know whether I might want to have one using that page maybe. Yeah, should we do that? Okay, yeah, okay, let's do that. So I've probably got way too many here, being really ambitious, thinking I'm going to get through all of these. So what we're going to do, we're going to do all of our folding all together, then all of our little snippy corners, and then, you know, all of the gluing and all of that sort of all at the same time. So for this one, I'm just thinking which way round we want this. Obviously, it kind of helps to decipher when you tuck this in what's going to be showing. So for this one, just going to go in on this side. Now this piece of paper, I've not obviously dried this very well, so it's a little bit soggy from the coffee dye still, which is far from ideal, but okay. So we've got our little flap there to the side, and then we're just going to go over, leaving, you know, a little space of a sort of millimetre or so. My gosh, I can't really see. Ooh. There we go, leaving the little space there. Again, smoosh this down like that, turn it over, and then in like that. Okay, so I'm just going to do that with all of my pieces of paper, and then we'll kind of like do all the trimming down and things all, you know, all in one go. So yes, that's my birds collection papers. So we'll just have a relax now, have a lovely time, have a hangout, and hopefully a nice productive, you know, mass making session. So I hope everybody is doing well. I hope your week has started out well. For those people who watch my mass making on a regular basis, you will know that I generally film these videos on a Monday to go out for you guys on the Tuesday. So yeah, my week has only just started. It's another cloudy, well, actually I say another cloudy day. No, that's not quite true. It is actually looking quite sunny, although not that warm because I've again got a long sleeve top and a cardigan on. So yeah, the weather's not really improved temperature wise that much. That being said, we had quite a nice, I was going to say a nice weekend. No, that's not true. Saturday was really chilly. Yesterday was quite nice. I mean, when I say quite nice, to be fair, not as nice as it should be for this time of year. So that's the butterfly collection papers. And then I've got these couple, which are from my new amethyst collection papers. And I thought these would be quite lovely for these pockets. So I'm just going to cut that off because for some reason my printer's not quite managed to print borderless. Sometimes struggles for some reason on the thicker paper. So yeah. Yeah, it wasn't as nice as you would hope for this time of year. So, I mean, it's coming to the point where it's kind of like, oh, take anything we can get, you know. So when I'm saying things like, oh, the weather was quite nice, I mean, it wasn't great, to be honest. I mean, I think... So I got in the car yesterday and it said 23 and I thought, what? Because the house was freezing. So I'd been absolutely freezing all morning and then, you know, got in the car and thought, oh my goodness. And of course I was wrapped right up. I had a big polo neck on and things. So I thought, oh gosh, I'm going to be boiling. Well, I needn't have worried because of course, as soon as I pulled out into the road, as I was driving, you know, the temperature was dropping and dropping. It had obviously just picked up the sun, you know, whilst my car had been sat there, soaking in the sun. So yeah, as I got driving, it was obviously not as hot as it first appeared. I think it went down to about 20, which to be honest, 20 is, you know, that's pretty tropical for the type of weather that we have been having so far this year. It's been rubbish. So Saturday, like I say, I couldn't even tell you what it was, but it was pretty cold. So yeah, pretty rubbish. But yesterday, better. When I say better, I'm not meaning good. So what have I been up to? So yesterday, let's start with yesterday. I had a lovely day with Bo. So yeah, everybody was out and yeah, my daughter had her, you know, her weekend with her dad. My sons were both, you know, busy and things. So yeah, it was just me and I took Bo down the beach with my friend and oh my goodness, had such a lovely time with her. Now, I have to say, I bought one of those ball catch thrower things. You know, those like long sticks where they've got like the ball shaped plastic bit that you kind of like, you know, sucker the ball onto and then you can throw the ball. So I'd seen them for ages and, you know, kind of wanted one and I finally bought one. So I took that down the beach yesterday, first time that I'd used it. And oh my goodness, probably best buy ever. Bo, literally, she could have like used it, you know, all day. I mean, we were there for a couple of hours and I was throwing it, you know, the whole time for the 2 hours we were there. So this was the amethyst collection as well. So yeah. And this is the pale lace in the pinks and purples. Yeah, she absolutely loved it. And, you know, literally the whole 2 hours I was kind of throwing the ball and my friend was also throwing the ball, you know, using the ball catcher thing. She loved it, loved it, loved it. And now I'm a rubbish thrower. Oh, hold on 2 seconds. Sorry about this. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Right, okay, where were we? So we just folded this edge in and we'll just now fold this into here. Okay. So I was talking about obviously the ball thrower for Bo, and honestly it was just like this genius thing because suddenly I could actually throw. So I felt so chuffed that I'd finally bought one. Anyway, then so spent you know, a couple of hours down the beach, and she obviously had this lovely time. So these are my new Paris collection papers. So she had a lovely time. Anyway, last night we get home and I thought, oh, she's just going to be out for the count because she must be so tired, you know, after her big adventure, you know, like running after the ball for literally 2 hours, you know, solid. Anyway, she was very strange when we got home, and she just couldn't really settle at all. She was like fidgeting about and, you know, being a bit nuisancey, to be honest. Now, she sleeps on the whole with me, you know, in my bed, which I love, I have to be honest. Absolutely love it. But she'll sleep with, you know, she'll sleep with any of us, to be honest, you know. She wanders around and she'll happily sleep with my sons. She'll sleep with my daughter, you know, so long as she's in with one of us, she doesn't really care. But on the whole, she sleeps with me. So she came into my room, obviously, you know, to come to sleep. And, yeah, she just wouldn't settle down, even during the night. So she kept kind of fidgeting around and getting up and walking around the bed and, you know, being quite a nuisance. And I had to take her downstairs and let her out into the garden twice. One of those times I was then wide awake. I went and got a cup of tea and stuff, and, you know, very, very annoying. Anyway, went back to sleep, and then I don't know what time it was, to be honest, but she was still fidgeting around. And then, would you believe, suddenly she got up and walking around on the bed, was then sick. So she was trying to get off the bed, didn't quite make it off the bed, and was sick, obviously, kind of like partially on the bed and, you know, partially over the bed. So bless her, all I can think was that was all the sand that she had kind of consumed while she was obviously licking the ball and, you know, picking up the ball. So, yeah, although she'd had a really lovely day, it wasn't quite as I'd hoped, because she actually then, you know, was, yeah, very up all night because of the, well, I'm assuming because of the sand. It might not have been the sand at all. These are my steampunk collection papers. So, yeah, that was a bit of a shame. I mean, literally, I had to get up and then change the bed in the middle of the night. So, super tired this morning. And, in fact, I thought, oh, gosh, when my alarm goes off, I'm never going to manage to get up. You know, I'll have to just not go to the gym. But funnily enough, when the alarm went off, I felt fine. It's catching up with me a bit more now. But, yeah, I was fine. I've just got these ones. These are the new Damask collection papers. I'm just going to cut this edge border bit off. And just to say, these are available on my website, not just my Etsy shop, but my website, and they're slightly cheaper on my website. And I know I've talked about this lately, but I will be gradually putting everything on my website, but obviously it's going to take, you know, a long time, and by a long time I literally mean probably months. So yeah, but these happen to be already on there, so there we go. Anyway, so yeah, bless her, felt very sorry for her, you know, not really like her. And I mean, I should have guessed that there was something wrong, you know. I just kept thinking, oh, what's wrong with her? She's being a bit of a nuisance. And then, yeah, of course, she obviously couldn't settle because she was feeling sick. So, touch wood, she seems absolutely right as rain this morning and absolutely her old self. So, yeah, hopefully she's fine. But, oh, very, very annoying. But because she's so lovely, I just can overlook it and let her off. There we go. Right, okay. Got this one. This is again from my new Amethyst collection papers. So just do one of these. So that was all I did really yesterday. Oh, I did meet my sister and my mum in Costa before I went to the beach. So that was nice. Yeah, that was it for yesterday. I'm just trying to think what I did. So Saturday, I think Saturday was very cold. Just trying to remember. Yeah, I think Saturday was very cold. So I literally did barely anything. Very, very, very boring Saturday. Again, it was kind of just me. So it's like, oh, nothing really to do. So I just did some work and things. So yeah, not very exciting at all. Okay, and this is my butterfly collection papers again. So I'll just do another one from this. Okie dokie. There we go. Oops. Hold on. Right, there we go. Oh, also, I don't know whether I mentioned this, but at Christmas, we'd bought Bo a you know, one of those ball launcher things, like those machines that like spit the ball out, you know, like they put the ball in the top and then it, you know, sort of throws it out. So yeah, we'd bought one of those for her, and because she just is obsessed with balls, and I thought, oh my goodness, she is going to love this so much. Well, she never got the hang of it, and you know, obviously we'd spent, you know, a little bit of time trying to teach her how to use it, and yeah, she didn't get the hang of it. And then obviously, you know what it's like, we kind of tidied up and, you know, we put it away because I thought, oh, we'll get it out another time. She's not kind of getting the hang of it so far. So she hasn't obviously seen it for absolutely ages. I'm just going to cut all these papers down now, ready to cut the corners and things and glue the flaps in. So yeah, she hadn't seen it for a long time. Anyway, at the weekend, I got it back out. You know, it seemed like it was all about balls at the weekend. So, you know, she had obviously that ball thrower thing. She had the ball launcher out. You know, it was all about kind of like just playing with the ball for her. And so, I mean, she must have been like literally in her element all weekend. Anyway, so the other thing that happened was when we bought the ball launcher, it comes with 3 balls. Now, they're not that big. They're smaller than a tennis ball. So let's say a tennis ball's that big. They're kind of like smaller balls like that. And you can't get those small balls everywhere, can you? Anyway, so what had happened, she loves chewing like tennis ball type balls. She sort of eats off all the fuzz from them. So the balls that had come with the ball launcher, obviously she had kind of destroyed them. And yeah, so she didn't really have a ball that she could actually use. So I think that was another reason why we kind of put it away, because we said, oh, well, you know, we'll have to replace the balls. Anyway, so I happened to see some small balls on Saturday. So I bought some replacement balls for the ball launcher. And so Saturday afternoon, I did spend a little bit of time again trying to train her to use that. I have to say, she was better than she was last time. I mean, she couldn't have been worse, let's be honest. She was not great at Christmas, but yeah, she was better than she was. And then after, say, I don't know, half an hour, 40 minutes, I thought, oh, I'm just gonna, you know, sit on the sofa. And suddenly, after about 10 minutes, the ball came like pinging across the room out of the machine. And I thought, oh my goodness, look, she's learned how to do it. And I thought, oh, isn't she clever? Well, she obviously hadn't. It was obviously a fluke, you know. But I mean, having said that, you would have thought she'd then think, oh, that's interesting. The ball's just come out. No, she didn't. So yeah, she didn't kind of grasp it. But yeah, I'm hoping that she is going to get the hang of it. So I'm going to kind of try and do that with her a bit every day. And I'll keep you posted of the progress. Honestly, it's one of those things that probably won't really go to plan. I mean, that being said, I have seen lots of videos on YouTube and all that, you know, of dogs using those things. So, I mean, obviously, dogs can get the hang of them, you know. So, yeah, it's not kind of like beyond the realms of possibility, but she's not got the hang of it yet. Right, let's cut this down a little bit like this. I hope to make a straight job of this because I haven't got much leeway from that bird's head. Oh dear. There we go. Right. So yes, anyway, that was the weekend for Bo. It just was all about her, really. So my daughter wants me to straighten her hair today when she comes home from school. So yeah, I've promised to do that when she comes home today. I mean, who knows, she might get home and she'll have changed her mind, because it's quite a long-winded process, and yeah, it's quite boring, to be honest, for her, you know. Plus, I'm not great with the straighteners, so sometimes I don't burn her head. A little bit. Yeah, I do a little bit, but, you know, don't, like, literally burn her head. But, you know, because you have to go really near the roots, and I've talked about her hair loads of times, but it's super, super, super curly, and, yeah, you have to go, obviously, very, very close to the roots, because otherwise it goes straight, but she's still got a curly root, which then looks, of course, really weird. So, yeah, to go close enough to actually make it straight, obviously she's then like, oh, mind my head, you know, rightly so. Yeah, so she might come home from school today and decide she's not in the mood for all that, you know, mucking about and me potentially burning her head. So yeah, we live in hope, because the thing is, it doesn't really stay straight that brilliantly, and it keeps raining lately. It's sort of like weird weather. So, you know, if I do straighten it, the chances are she'll go to school tomorrow and then it will rain and she'll come back and it will be all curly again. We'll see. We shall see. But yeah. Oops. Haven't watched anything of note on, you know, Netflix or any of the channels. There's been nothing at all grabbing me at all. It's been really rubbish again. So, yep, nothing to recommend, I'm afraid. Haven't been to the cinema either. That's just, oh, really rubbish at the minute. So, yeah, it's all very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. Oops. Honestly, I mean, I know it is the summer, so that's normally the kind of dry spell, isn't it, for films? But I think because the weather is so bad this year, you know, we would have still been going to the cinema, to be honest, at this time. Where normally, you know, it's proper summery weather, and so you might not even notice if there's nothing on. But this year it's kind of like, oh, what should we do today? You know, it's like rubbish weather and there's nothing on at the cinema or anything. So yeah, it's all a bit boring, really. Okay. Oh, I just want to say thank you so much to anybody who bought the packs last week from the mass making. Obviously they were kind of physical packs last week with the fabrics and the paper clips and all the embellishment pieces. So yeah, thank you so much to all those people who purchased any of those, and thank you so much to anyone who's purchased any digis or anything as well. Hope that you're having lots of fun with them. Going to try and get a bit ahead this year, because what happens is I normally really leave it. Right, I'm just going to do all of my gluing now. So all of the, you know, these edge pieces, I'm normally very rubbish and end up having to suddenly make like Christmas and autumn digis in quite a sort of close succession, you know, and Halloween actually. Yeah, I thought there was 3 and I couldn't remember then what the third one was. So it's normally autumn, Halloween, Christmas, and it's like, oh, bang, 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 you know, I have to quickly make those. So I'm going to try and get a bit ahead of myself and try and make those quite soon. I have to confess, I do struggle a bit, because if it's not, you know, if it's not feeling like autumn, although let's be honest, the weather is kind of feeling like autumn at the minute, but yeah, if it's not really feeling autumny, I struggle a bit then to, you know, be in the zone of autumn. You know, the same as obviously if it's not Christmas, I'm going to struggle to make Christmassy things. But I am going to try and do that. The other thing that I've done, and I talked about this a really long time ago, I put together some sets of a make your own, you know, make a journal with me. We did the build your own folio series, probably, well, it could have even been 2 years ago now. Time goes so quickly. And I had been promising to do some more things like that. Now, I'm sure it was about a year ago, I put some sets together of a, you know, build your own journal or make a journal with me. And do you know, I still haven't actually got on with doing the series. I've got 1 or 2 more things I need to tweak and do to complete the kits. And I still need to do those things. So, you know, kind of like I need to do quite a bit of like finishing off things. And then, you know, I can actually complete those, because unfortunately, those particular things that I've put together, they're quite a summery theme. And if I don't crack on with it soon, it won't be summer again. And then I'll feel like it's a bit weird to be putting out a sort of very summery, you know, journal when it's not summery weather. So yeah, I need to knuckle down and do that. So, and I've also got coming up, if you watch my channel, you might remember, you know, when I've rented my house out for the past 2 or 3 years, for the event that we have here locally. So it's the Goodwood Festival of Speed, and I also have been lucky enough to be able to rent it out for the revival as well. So yeah, that's looming quite soon. So we have to be getting ready to move out of our house again. I think it's like 3 weeks from now, which I know I've talked about this loads of times, but oh my goodness, it's such a lot of work. So yeah, because obviously proper have to move out your house, you know. So yeah, literally have to clear all your stuff out and yeah, proper move out. And obviously major cleaning situation goes on. So yes, that's going to be coming up. So I really need to kind of do a lot of work over the next 3 weeks really before that happens, because you know, obviously it's kind of tricky once you're in the throes of doing that, because obviously it takes a good, you know, 4 or 5 days really of prepping the house, cleaning, you know, getting everywhere lovely, you know, because I mean obviously you have to clean all the oven and the fridge freezer and all of that kind of stuff, so it's all really nice and pristine for everybody. It's not just a case of normal cleaning, if you know what I mean. So yeah, need to get on top of a few things now in readiness for that, because otherwise I'll be like, ooh, I'm behind, running behind, you know, generally, before even taking that into account. So yeah, honestly, I just can't believe where the time goes. It's just so shocking. Okay. Okay. So it's going to be my son's 18th soon. I can't remember whether I've talked about this in the last couple of weeks in the mass making. I feel like possibly I have. Yeah, we're still discussing what would he like to do for his 18th, and still no further ahead with our plans. He's not come up with anything he wants to do still, and it's just going to be one of those things, I fear, that, you know, we're going to end up doing nothing, and then, you know, like forever he'll be like, oh, what, my 18th, when we did nothing. I mean, obviously we will do something, but, you know, not like a big celebratory sort of memorable thing. So I wish that he would come up with what he would like to do. He's very like me when it comes to things like that. I hate committing myself to things, and he's just the same, unfortunately for him, because yeah, that's a very annoying way to be, you know, because all that happens is you end up missing, you know, missing the opportunities altogether, you know, all because you kind of can't quite bring yourself to commit to something. Right, there we go. So we've glued all of our pockets down. So I'm going to just go back to the beginning and tuck them all in. Is that one tucked in already? Oh, it is. Yeah. Now, like I said, I'm not going to put the bits of paper in the back. I'm going to leave those, but you know, this is where you could definitely do that. So I'm just going to go in and tuck all my little flaps of the pockets in, and then we will decorate one of these. So not sure which one to decorate actually, but I have brought along, oh my goodness, can't tuck this in, have brought along some of my little hydrangea topper type pieces. They're not toppers, but you know, the ephemera type pieces. So I've just brought along a few of those. So yeah, hopefully we'll kind of do something with those. Although I have got some Paris type bits that we could use if we don't fancy the hydrangea bits, but we'll see. I haven't really played with the hydrangea things at all since I've made them. So it would be quite fun to have a bit of a play around with those. There we go. obviously it's like coming up to sort of election times. So, you know, that's predominantly a lot of what's on the telly at the moment is the election, what do you call it? Like the election campaigny type things. They've got like the interviews and stuff going on. So, yeah, there's not really anything much to watch on any of the normal channels either, because a lot of those are taken up with that. And now, would you believe, it's now football season as well. So, I mean, as if it wasn't bad enough with the, you know, the candidate interview type, not interviews. What do you call them? Oh, gosh, what do they call those things? You know, like where they're, well, I suppose they are the interviews, but anyway, where they're, you know, campaigning. If it's not that, it's football. I mean, oh, my goodness, how boring. That's where we really need the better weather so that, you know, can escape the football and things. I mean, thank goodness my kids don't really like football. Because, oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine a more boring thing to be watching. Right, okay, so these are my little hydrangea pieces. So let's just take a couple of these, and these are printed 2 to a page. So ordinarily you'd get, you know, this is a page and this is a page, but yeah, I've printed them 2 to a page for this little project. So let's just pick. Now we could marry them with a, you know, one of the hydrangea papers, or we could marry them with something else. Maybe this lace looks really pretty actually. So let's just move these to one side. Right, now, oh, thinking maybe this looks very gorgeous, doesn't it? So let's just take this one. And then there's a couple of little bows on here as well. So I'll just take a bow as well. Okay. Let's cut this one. Okie dokie. I don't know why, but Bo is laying outside of my room at the top of the stairs. Like she's keeping watch, but she's not in here in her bed. I think maybe she's disgusted with how messy it is in here that she can't even bear being in here now. I mean, that's terrible, isn't it? If things are so bad that even your dog can't bear being in your mess. Oh dear. That's not good. Oh, I've seen the cutest videos lately of, you know, dog videos. I saw this one the other day. It looked like a Bichon Frise. It might not have been. It could have been, you know, could have been a different breed. But it was so cute. It was a video of this, you know, toddler type thing going to sleep in his cot, and he'd fallen asleep in his cot, and beside his cot was like what looked like another cot, but like for the dog. So the dog, the Bichon Frise, you know, kind of similar size to the toddler, he kind of, or she, taps the toddler on the head and then realizes the toddler's asleep. At that point, drags the blanket with its mouth and puts it over the toddler. I mean, you know, how cute is this? Then goes to the door and pushes the door closed of the bedroom. Then goes to the light switch, flicks the light switch off, and then goes and lays in the bed next to the toddler. Oh my goodness. I messaged my son. I said, oh my goodness, look at how cute this video is. He was like, oh. I don't know whether that's a real video or whether someone's like, you know, edited it, or maybe it's that AI or something. I don't know. But oh my goodness, if that's real, super, super, super cute. Yeah, like really smart dog. Honestly, my dog can't even manage to do that ball catcher or the ball launcher. So yeah, shame on you, Bo. Just in case she's listening. Yeah, it was really cute, really cute. I don't know. Do you reckon that's true? I mean, dogs are very clever, aren't they? But yeah, very, very, very cute. Oh my goodness, how pretty does that look? Now, I'm just going to get some lace. Oh, I'm thinking maybe have some lace running down here as well. Do we think that that's going to show up enough? Oh my gosh, how gorgeous does that look? Now I'm thinking just glue this on here with the Fabri-Tac or 3-in-1. So just put the lace down first, like that. Okay. What's happened to my dry wipe now? All that talking, I've lost my dry wipe. There we go. Like that. And then this, I'm just going to put this in here. So yeah, I sort of partially coffee dyed this by mistake. I think I went to coffee dye and then thought, oh, hang on, I don't need to coffee dye these. So I sort of stopped straight away, but it was a bit late by then. Oh, now I'm smearing it everywhere. Oh gosh, this is a bit of a wet wipe, so I'll just smear that off with that. Okay. Right, and then this bow, should we have this bow here to the side? Yeah, that's very cute, isn't it? Oh, why is this not sticking? Honestly, that's where the hot glue comes in just so handy, because, you know, if like things aren't sticking instantly, the hot glue is just brilliant for bypassing the waiting process. So I just put a little dab of hot glue in there, like that. Okay. There we go. Right, now I also have got some butterflies, so just see if we want to have any butterflies. So, okay, so these are my light butterflies. So, just got a couple of sort of purpley ones. So let's just take a couple of these. Okay, right. Okay. Oh, doesn't this look pretty? It's such a girly sort of colour combination, isn't it? Oh, I'm so sorry. Hold on a second. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. That was my mum and dad. So, right, I finished cutting out the butterfly whilst I was on the phone, and then I just dug out this lace, and I thought we could just run this lace down the side. So, again, just going to quickly pop this down with the 3-in-1. So, when I'm using it on a holey lace, so see this edge is very holey, I like to just smear it in a bit with my finger so that it's not quite so visible, if you see what I mean. I mean, unfortunately it is a little bit still, but not as bad as if I had big clumps of the glue. So that's that one, and then let's just trim this out here like that. Okay, and then just right. Ooh. Find it easiest to turn it over like that. Okie dokie. Oh my goodness, how pretty does that look? I don't very often use lilac and purple. I know I've talked about this before, but I do love it when I do use it. I love it so much. So I'm going to just put that butterfly on there. Again, just being super lazy using the hot glue because it's nice and quick, and I just know that that's then glued down. Just get some of the bling. Okay. Don't know whether I want bling on here or not, but I thought we'll just see. Oh yeah, I mean, everything's better with bling, isn't it? I mean, it looks fine without it, but weirdly enough, a little bit colourless, and the bling just kind of gives it a bit of extra, ta-da, you know. I have got the trim packs, by the way, available on my website now. I know that I've talked about them for the last couple of weeks. Well, I've finally now made the trim packs up and put them on there. They're slightly different to normal, so they're slightly cheaper because you get slightly less trims. again, because of just, you know, managing to get the availability of things. So yeah, but the good news is obviously, you know, they're slightly cheaper. So right, again, just going to tie the twine round. This isn't baker's twine. This is kind of like what I would call gardening twine. I don't know whether it's gardening twine, but you know, like, yeah, just regular twine. So like that. And what I'm going to do, I'm not going to glue it onto the back, because when I come to use this, I don't know whether I would definitely want it, you know, tied up with the twine. I might decide to tie it up with maybe some sari silk or something like that instead. So if I just tie the twine round there but don't glue it on, it just gives me the option that when I come to use this, I could then switch the twine out for, you know, for something else. But again, I would glue this on 3 sides like that, down the side and there, and then you'd have a little side loading pocket. The other thing that you could do is you could just glue it top and bottom and then use it like a belly band. But again, obviously you've got then opening out. I'll just open this one out to show you. So you've got that journaling space, obviously, if you were to cover those with the plain paper. And then here, oh gosh, now that I've glued this one in. Oh dear. Ah, there we go. And then you've got all that extra journaling space inside. So, you know, they're very roomy pockets, aren't they? Like we said. And you do get, you know, quite a fair amount of journaling space going on in there. And obviously in here, you could just tuck in a little something into there. Oops. Into there like that. So they're very cute, aren't they? So yeah, I hope you like them. Let's see how many that we did. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Wow, that was pretty good, because I think they're a little bit on the fiddly side. So 13, pretty good. Feeling quite pleased with our efforts there. So yeah, I hope you like them. I hope you feel inspired to make some of your own. And yeah, I'd really appreciate it if you could give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a fantastic couple of days, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks then. Bye.